Hello, folks. It's your boy, Amateur Overlord. Today has been a bit of a logistical nightmare. As you can see, my setups. It's not significantly different today, but it's different. Got a little more back support now, so I won't be like moving around so much like I usually am. Um, today's topic. Today's topic is an interesting topic. A friend of mine hit me up and he told me I should talk about it because I did say that I wanted to focus on many of the differences between British culture and American culture. So one of the topics that we're going to talk about, or the main topic of today, is going to be British music, focusing on urban music as opposed to American urban music. Now, this is going to be localized in that I grew up in a very specific part of the United States, um, and now I live in a specific part of the UK, so London and the Bay Area. So I grew up in the Bay Area, San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, 510, 408, 415, whatever you want to call it. Got mad love for the Bay, especially the East Bay. And yeah, I live in London now. So about the time that I came back over to here, the UK, like, the music scene was really heavily into a genre called grime, which a lot of my American viewers will not be familiar with. Grime. Grime. It's as nasty as it sounds. Like, I always make the joke that grime's something you find in your toilet. Just a joke. Just a joke, folks. If you're big grime fans, That being said, the argument that me and one of my close friends always have about grime as opposed to urban, like in the Bay Area, we have what is called hyphy music. Not a big fan of hyphy music either, really. Don't get it twisted. Just like grime, I'll have certain tracks that I listen to when Keek the Sneak came out. Um, During the height of the hyphy movement, I love those tracks. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily put him in the category of being like all about the hyphy movement because he predates it. But E40, I am a massive E40 fan. No one has repped the Bay harder, in my opinion, than E40. And you could call him the ambassador to the Bay. You see him at every Warriors game. I think he's fresh out of Richmond, if I'm not mistaken. No, sorry, not Richmond. Vallejo. Comes out of Vallejo. So yeah. So that's Bay music, and I've been bumping E40 since the '90s. Been bumping E40, and I do got some love for specific tracks that relate to the hyphy movement. But when I get to the UK, there's like maybe one or two tracks of grime that I would listen to, and I would listen to it primarily because my friends were listening to it, and it's not something I would sit down or pick out while driving and be like, yeah, I'm gonna listen to this. I will say this about UK music. Young people in the UK, or people in general, they support local artists in a way that I do not see in the United States. Even in the Bay Area, like, it took hyphy music to reach a certain level, which I guess you could owe to the support that it was getting, but it was more niche for the longest time because hyphy music's probably been around longer than people knew about it. Drake references hyphy music once or twice in some of his tracks. He literally, not that this is hyphy music, but he like what track is it that he copies Rappin' Forte's words verbatim? Like, he just copies everything Rappin' Forte says from his track Players Club. If you're from the Bay, you'll know who Rappin' Forte is. But if you're not, you're gonna have to go Google or YouTube the guy. But if you go listen to what Rappin' Forte says and go back and listen to what Drizzy says, you'll be like, damn, he took a lot of that. I think it's a track he's on with YG, Drake, anyway. But anyway, people share. I mean, Jay-Z bigs up the Notorious B.I.G. by bringing up a lot of his lyrics and flipping them and whatever. Artists do that. Yeah. Oh, and yeah, and I'm just going off topic here. When they were rolling through the Bay on the YOLO track, this is Young Money. Weezy, Tyga was still there at that time, and Drake. He talks about Mac Dre, and Mac Dre was an important Bay Area artist. I wouldn't say necessarily, is he? I think he's one of the founding fathers of hyphy. They he was murdered in Kansas City, as I recall. Uh, Again, this is what I can recall from memory. This is not me having done fact checking before doing this. This is off the cuff, as you love it to be. Um, but yeah, back to being in the United Kingdom. Um, yeah, I'm just thinking of the grime artists that I know of. JME. Who else? There's so many of them. I'm not even. I shouldn't even talk about them without somebody else here. It's just we needed a topic for today, and this is what we chose. It's not my genre of music. I don't like it per se. I don't think it's responsible for any rise or fall in crime. I just think it's a way for people to express themselves. I mean, when I came here, there was a lot of kids here listening to another genre that I'm not too impressed with, garage. I do not like garage music, and garage music has its roots in the Afro-Caribbean community that came to the UK and their descendants, and in that it sounds like reggae or dance hall on steroids, mixed with a bit of hip hop. Like, I cannot stand this stuff, but they go nuts for it. People like of my age group, when they're in the rave or in the club and they hear some garage come on, garage meaning garage or whatever you want to call it, you know, it's just that I think again it needs to be it needs to be relegated to the place that it is named for and kept in your damn garage because it's trash. Personal opinion. Y'all could tell me I'm wrong. I just say what I like. I don't like garage. It could be the era that I grew up in. I grew up in the Bay Area during the like born in the 80s. Grew up in the Bay Area in the 90s, early thousands. You know, the music that I came up in the golden era of R&B, so the golden era of hip hop. I saw Titans rise and fall in that time, and then I look at the music today that I find, and I'm just like, oh man. And I can't sit here and say, oh, all British music is garbage, because it's not. Like, this is still the place that brings out the what's his name? I forgot his damn name. The ginger guy. You know who I'm talking about. Ed Sheeran. Okay, we got the Ed Sheerans, Adele's, the Amy Winehouses, artists of color. Wretch 32. Big fan of Wretch 32. I think he's an amazing artist. Lyrically, he's amazing. I love what he does lyrically. Skepta on one or two tracks, not a big fan. Like, he's my age, I'm not a big fan of that music or his style of music. But I'm not gonna sit here and say that his impact on British culture isn't what it is, because he did a lot. You know, came out of Tottenham, I think it was. Young black man came out of Tottenham, made a life for himself. He's a multi-millionaire, did big things. Lyrically, I like Chipmunk. Don't like his style of music necessarily, but if I sit down, especially not in his tracks, but in his battle raps, you can't touch him. There's very few people that could touch Chipmunk in a battle rap. If you sit there and read his lyrics, and I write my own things, I write my poetry. If you love lyrics, if you love wordplay, Chipmunk will have you like, wow. Like, I don't know if he gets help. I'm not saying he does or he doesn't, but if he does that by himself, don't sleep on him. The he's got bars. Like, I'm not even hating on that guy. Right now, I've been listening to Flatbush Zombies. I've been listening to a lot of like probably music that's SIR. His name might just be Sir. I could be wrong. Her. I've been on a very like soulful neo soul type tip lately. That'll change. Don't get it twisted. Like, if you come in my car, you will hear gangster rap. It's just the era I grew up in. I love the Chronic 2001. The Chronic, America's Most Wanted, Tupac. You'll hear Life After Death. I'm a very, very, very big Notorious B.I.G. fan. I could literally say every single track in Life After Death verbatim. So I love Wu-Tang. I love East Coast rap. Nas, Mobb Deep. Just give me some Gangstar, just you know, Titans, people that just I feel personified what hip hop as a genre is. And a lot of people don't know this, but hip hop comes from Afro-Caribbeans primarily, and I'll say that based on the fact that if we go back to the godfathers of hip hop, African Bambatas, you know, all them guys. Like, if you go back and you check their family history, they're all like, their parents are all from Jamaica or Trinidad, and they all ended up in New York. And so they had that Afro Caribbean influence, and they made that music. So hip hop, I feel personally, is an Afro Caribbean invention, or can be traced to Afro Caribbean roots. A lot of it came out of the Bronx, which is full of like Latinos, Puerto Ricans, Cubans. Shout out to my Taino brothers. And yeah, so that's my opinion. We've pushed the 10-minute mark today. I'd like to thank y'all for tuning in. Tell me what your opinions are between British music and American music, especially at the local level. Deep respect for the way that urban music is respected in the UK. I think that Americans could learn something from how well people in Britain, what was the word? Invest and develop their artists. So yeah, that's me done for today. I am your host, Amateur Overlord. I will see you tomorrow.